What's up, guys? So I want to show you how we took a struggling account that was getting a very expensive cost of acquisition. They were losing $15,000 per month on advertising, how we got them to a cost of acquisition of $244. This is in a very competitive telehealth weight loss space. So you can see this dropped by 50%. Now the net CAC, that includes all their shipping costs, everything else associated with that. So this client actually cared more about the CAC than they did in the profitability of the business. Not personally how I would run it. If I was self-financing, I don't know what the business is like. Some of these businesses we work with, they come to us and like, Daniel, we don't care about profitability for months down the line. We're well-financed. So some businesses, they care more about the CAC because they're financed and they can weather the storm for months. As a performance partner, I care more about profitability of the business and I want to be making you money off the top. I want to show you kind of what happened. So this was Friday, October 10th, when this data is from. So relevant Q4 in the fiercely competitive weight loss space. You know, all these e-commerce boys think they got all this tricks and skill set, yet an e-commerce company might spend $100,000 in a month, $200,000, maybe $1 million. But in this telehealth weight loss space, like you have to keep in mind, like you're competing against companies like Hims. They spend $50 million a month. That's just one player. Then you got Row.co. You've got all these massive companies. So this company, they're not spending a lot at all, but you have to be very, very conservative with everything. You have to know exactly what you're doing. There's no room for errors in this space. I want to show you what happened. So on the ad side, we immediately took this over. They were getting like over $700 acquisition costs. They weren't really pushing a lot. So kind of want to show you how we set up the campaign. Now, some of these ad sets are turned off. We did turn this off. One of the challenges actually you'll see when we took this account over August 1st, pretty much, I'll show you the first month. This was our first month. We got them, I think, better results, 2 times return on ad spend. Overall, they were getting much higher ticket orders. The margin was very high, although that we did get it up to 2.59. That was really nice. It took us a lot of time. Now you can see here, the cost per sale was actually higher at this point. So we were at a 510. Now we brought this down from a 749, I think is what their month was before. And they were only getting like $199 orders before. So they were not only like spending more, but they were not profitable on it. For us, like I personally don't care as much about the CAC as I do about how much revenue is being generated. Are we profitable? So in this case, they were getting 2 times return on ad spend. So we were getting like, I think our average order value for this time frame was like 1,500. It was pretty high. So we didn't mind spending $500 to acquire somebody that was spending $1,500. The net CAC was $600. So we were making $900 per order of profit. To me, I'd rather profit $900 than have a $300 CAC with a net loss, you know, that I'm not going to see the profit back for 2 to 3 months. Again, everybody has their preference. So when we work together with our clients, we say, what do you want? Do you want profitability? Do you want to focus on lowest acquisition costs? Every business is different. So we'll just build the campaigns around that. So we got this up. They then came to us and they're like, hey, your guys' CAC is much higher. We need to focus on CAC. We also need you to do all these things. And they were just up our ass about making all these changes. So I want to show you what happened. And now keep in mind, they were only spending $1,500 a day. Not a lot. We were just starting to scale in the last few weeks. So let's jump ahead to the month of September. Well, what happened there? Pretty much they forced a lot of things upon us that we did not want to do. We disagreed with and said, we don't want to do these. We pushed back, but they're like, we want to see these. What were those things? They launched a new landing page, untested. There was nothing wrong with the landing page. You know, for me, let's put resources toward this. They invested like tens of thousands of dollars into all these new landing pages and they wanted to see it out. If I spent that much, I'd probably want to see it out too. They then forced us to launch certain PMAX campaigns. They wanted us to get shopping ads and display ads done. They were having us do all this stuff that was taking away from what was actually driving revenue. So I'm going to jump now to the next month. What happened? You can see only a 1.3 times return on ad spend. So our cost per sale actually went up a little bit and the profit was drastically affected by this. So what do we do? And actually, I think if we look at it was like a 2 to 3 week window, I think, that they were having input and it was really affecting us. So yeah, 1.2 times, 595, almost back to what it was. And then what happens? The client freaks out and says, hey, we actually aren't happy. If you guys don't turn this around, you're fired. Literally. Oh, so for all the things you forced us to do that we didn't want to do, now we're getting fired and put on the chopping block. Great. great. And a lot of clients don't know what they want. I had to like go back and forth with them many times. I'm like, what do you want? Like, what's your goal here? Because we got you profitable, you weren't happy. Now, what's your goal? Well, all we care about is CAC because we did the LTV math, and every additional amount we spend is less that we're profiting long term. We can sustain and weather the storm. I'm like, okay, well, you didn't tell us that from the start. So let's focus on CAC. And so we get things turned around. It took us, again, some time. You're not spending a lot of money. Think of what this is. We needed like 100 orders to like really exit this learning phase. And at 500 to 600 bucks an order, at 1,500 bucks a day, we're only getting like 3 orders a day. Not a lot. That's 21 a week times 4 weeks. That's like 81. So anytime we're in this phase, like it's just not that many orders that we're getting. So we take control of things. I'm going to show you the week after. Things immediately start improving again. And then I'm going to jump to the date that I was showing you, which, you know, is where we're at now. So 2.59 ROAS. We got to our most profitable, and more than anything, we got the CAC down to a much more safe and measurable place. We did launch some new campaigns. I don't want to show you guys all this structure and give away everything, but you can see here with this, not all of these are on and off. Let me pause this for a sec. Additionally, we didn't have the creatives. You know, for us, it takes about 4 weeks to produce creatives. We were working with a lot of their subpar creatives. So now we actually have our creatives. We just had to relaunch the campaign. It's going to probably take about 7 to 10 days. So stand by. I might show this if I can. And yeah, stand by. But you can see we relaunched this. Now check this out. This is with my Constellation strategy. This is a strategy that I developed. I've been anticipating Andromeda's rollout for months now. I mean, we were already a content first agency for over a year. We heard about Andromeda. We started planning for it, and we started affecting our strategies and campaigns back in February. So a lot of these companies are just talking about it now, and they're just adjusting to it. And it's like, we've already been planning and playing with it since February in our accounts. I rolled out my strategy, the Constellation strategy, in June of this year. And then a lot of these other people started talking about it around like July. And now we're pretty sure it's hit every single account, every account that we've had under management. We're seeing this. Now, when you apply the best practices, this is what it looks like. Look at this. Look at these numbers. This is what I want to see. 12.5% unique outbound click-through rates. So this is great. This campaign is going to really do well. We're set up for success. It's going to be screaming. I'd love to see the performance of this as we go. As you saw, we're at 2.59. We just rolled these changes out. Now with Andromeda, it's taking 7 to 14 days to see this, because it's not just setting up and it's not finding one winning creative and running that. You don't cut all these other losing creatives. That's not the best practices for Andromeda. What we're seeing with Andromeda is you have to have the entire diverse creatives of where somebody might be when they're top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. And when you load up all these creatives, let's see how many we have here. So we've got only 25 creatives, right? These were the ones that we determined were going to be the most successful, but I don't even want to run a campaign with less than 25 creatives. So we've got 25 creatives, upwards of 60 creatives in some accounts. All of these are going to get different spends, right? Depending on if they're top of funnel, Facebook's going to show them a different ad. And if they're bottom of funnel, they may get shown a different ad. And what's going to happen is all the data that you're seeing here is not actually the true data on the journey. You have to understand what softwares and what parts of the click to track, because what somebody clicks and goes to the landing page for the first time, they don't normally convert. They might click on the landing page multiple times. So what's happening is this last click is what's getting attributed here, but that doesn't tell the full journey. So my Constellation strategy, it tells the full journey. That's what we do, is we have a strategy on Meta where we're able to scale campaigns. We're able to create the creatives that we know we need. And this is how we're able to get results for our clients.